I literally screamed a few times. That is my catchphrase in this video. There's voice acting. It's a theme. Hello, Billy.
It's time for the 13 Nights of Saraween.
Hey besties, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today is day 2 of the 13 Nights of Saraween, and I thought that this would be a perfect time to talk about my favorite spooky, cozy Nintendo Switch games. I know talking about video games is a little bit off the beaten path of what I typically do on this channel. I'm usually here talking about books, but I have a theory. A lot of people who like reading also enjoy video games. I specifically like games that have a story. I like a lot of games with voice acting, really beautiful art, just a lot of things that I feel like people who enjoy reading would also enjoy. I actually got a Nintendo Switch this past Christmas, and this is definitely one of the #1 things that I do in my spare time outside of reading. And so one of my favorite genres of games is spooky, cozy games, specifically games that kind of bring up that like Halloween autumnal feeling. And so today I have a list of 10 of those games. So the first game on this list is leclue. This is a point and click mystery game. If you were ever one of those girlies who was a fan of the Nancy Drew CD-ROM games where you went around and collected clues and solved mysteries, this is definitely a game that would be right up your alley. So in this game, you play as leclue, an aspiring young detective in a small town. She typically doesn't have very big mysteries to solve, and she longs for real adventure. But at the start of this game, her mother is actually framed for murder, and so she embarks on a journey to uncover the truth and soon discovers that nothing in her small town is as what it seems. I absolutely love the art style of this game, and what's even more exciting is that it is fully voice acted. So in between the gameplay, there are cutscenes that sort of play like an animated film. The gameplay of this game is very simple. All you do is walk from right to left, and then you click on different clues as you piece together to try and solve the mystery. And so there's different puzzles that you have to solve. And what's really fun about this game is that it actually takes place during Halloween. So there's different like spooky decorations all throughout, which kind of adds to the cozy fall vibes. I would say that this game takes about 10 hours to play, and I thoroughly enjoyed every single moment of it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was cute. It gives you kind of nostalgic feelings. Even though leclue is not a real fandom, like it's not actually Nancy Drew, it makes me feel like something that I could have experienced as a child, but it still has some sort of like adult jokes in it and stuff that makes you feel like it's a nod to that nostalgic feeling that it's giving, if that makes any sense. I really hope that they make a sequel to this game because it was so much fun, and I feel like there's a lot of room to grow and experience with leclue. The next game on my list is Tangle Tower, which is another point and click mystery. So Tangle Tower follows 2 detectives, Grimoire and Sally, as they visit the mysterious Tangle Tower home to 2 different families. They arrive on the scene after the murder of Freya Fellow, who has seemingly been stabbed to death by a painting. This is another game where I just thoroughly enjoyed the art style and the overall mystery. It was a lot of fun. Tangle Tower is full of a bunch of fun and mysterious characters, and this is also fully voice acted, so that kind of adds to the intrigue of everything that you're solving. The gameplay is very simple in this. It is a true point and click mystery. I actually recommend using the touchscreen on your Switch if you're playing this game. I had a lot of fun trying to figure out where the mystery was going, and you're kind of just running around Tangle Tower trying to solve things. And if you like point and click mysteries, I definitely think this is one that you don't want to miss. The next game on my list is Pinstripe, which is a platformer. So in this game, we play as Teddy, and we start out on a train, and very quickly into being on this train, his 3-year-old daughter Bo is kidnapped by this demonic man named Mr. Pinstripe, and so we have to travel through this snowy hellscape to go and find Bo. Like I said, this game is a platformer, so a lot of the gameplay is you moving from side to side and jumping onto things. I really loved the art style of this game because although it takes place in like a snowy atmosphere, it is very like Tim Burton-esque, and so it kind of adds that spooky vibe. And Mr. Pinstripe is honestly kind of a little bit scary as you go along throughout the game. This game is also fully voice acted. Something you're gonna learn about me is I love voice acting. Like if I hear that a game has a full cast of voice actors, I'm probably gonna play it. This was actually one of the first games that I played when I got my Switch, and I just loved it so much. I think I got it on sale for like $2. So if you ever see this on sale in the Nintendo eStore, I highly recommend that you get it. The next game on my list is, you guessed it, another point and click mystery. Something about me is I like easy gameplay, and so point and click mysteries, that's where it's at. And so this game is Gibbous, a Cthulhu adventure. This is definitely one that I would say that you should play if you're a fan of Lovecraft in any way. In this game, we follow 3 protagonists, and there are crazy cultists, there's a cthulu, there's a talking cat, and so you explore a lushly rendered Lovecraft-inspired world, unraveling ancient conspiracies. The gameplay and this point-and-click mystery is pretty much what you would expect from this type of game. You can move from left to right, and you can pick up different objects, and you can combine them and use them for different parts of your adventure. I wouldn't say that the art style in this game is my absolute favorite, but it does remind me of a Saturday morning cartoon, and I really liked the story and the humor in this game. I'm not a huge Lovecraft fan. Like, I know a bit about Lovecraft because of a class that I took when I was in college, but in general, I'm not like someone that like seeks out like Lovecraftian adventure, but I did like this, and it has to do with like the Necronomicon. See, I'm not that big of a Lovecraft fan. Anyway, I recommend picking this up if you're a fan of any of that, because like I said, there's a Cthulhu in it, there's a Necronomicon, there is voice acting, because like I said, I'm a bitch that loves voice acting. And it's very funny, but it also has kind of fun, spooky vibes because of it being Lovecraftian, so I think it's kind of perfect for this Halloween season. So the next game on my list is Stories Untold, and this is actually an experimental game type. I don't really know how to describe it because it combines a lot of different types of gameplay. So like I was saying, Stories Untold is a narrative-driven experimental adventure game. It combines 4 short stories into a single mysterious anthology. It really pulls together 80s retro nostalgia. Each story is unique with its own setting, gameplay, and mechanics. You can play mind-bending text adventures, process radio transmissions, and conduct experiments on bizarre artifacts. I really found myself really trying to piece together how it was going to go together, because the tagline for this game is 4 horror stories, 1 nightmare. So there's sort of like this underlying feeling of dread the whole time you're playing. I will say that this one is definitely spookier than the other ones that I've been putting on this list. Like, this one actually might make you a little bit scared when you're playing it, but it's a lot of fun if you enjoy solving puzzles, because the gameplay is actually like hard sometimes. I played this with my boyfriend, and so there was one point where we were like doing the radio transmissions, and I like just had to have him take the controller because I was getting confused on how to do it. But overall, I really liked this, and there is voice acting in this. Like I said, I love voice acting. Not all of it, because some of it, like I said, is like text-based, but in general, there is a bit here and there, and there's a really cool soundtrack, and overall, I just think that this is a really cool vibe. I think if you like Stranger Things, you might like this. It has a similar energy to that series, so yeah, I think you might like it. The next game on my list is one that you might have heard of before, and that is Little Misfortune. Our main character in this game is a little girl named Misfortune who unfortunately doesn't have the best home life. So at the very start of the game, she is approached by this disembodied voice named Mr. Voice, and so he kind of takes her along on a journey so that she can find true happiness. So what makes this game feel a bit spooky is the art style overall, as well as the fact that the disembodied voice is a bit nefarious. He gives off kind of like creepy vibes. Despite the eerie vibe of this game, I really enjoyed playing it because of the humor and the overall adventure that Misfortune goes on. It actually has a lot of heartfelt moments, and there is voice acting. I don't know if I put any games on this list that don't have voice acting. Like, voice acting really sucks me in. I know I keep saying that, but if you have voice actors, I'm probably going to play. The next game on this list is Afterparty, which is an interactive choice-based game. So in Afterparty, you play best friends Milo and Lola, who've recently died and found themselves in hell. So obviously when Milo and Lola get to hell, they realize that this is not somewhere that they want to spend for eternity. So they go in search of a loophole, and they find out that if they can outdrink Satan in a drinking contest, he'll grant them re-entry to Earth. So you're able to control Milo and Lola with a conversation system that lets you choose what they say, and that affects the actual story and the relationships based on every decision that you make. And because of the drinking theme of this game, you actually are able to use alcohol to affect the story as well. So for example, you can drink different cocktails that will give you different options when you're making conversations, and just give you different confidence levels and allow you to make choices throughout the game. What I really loved about this game is the humor. It's really funny. I actually found myself laughing out loud multiple times. This also has voice acting. That is my catchphrase in this video. There's voice acting. It's a theme. Because of the conversation and choice mechanics of this game, it actually can change the story a lot, and so that's actually pretty exciting when you play a game like this, because the replayability is really high. And so I know that I will probably replay this again because I made certain choices that led me to a certain ending, and I would really love to see what other like different things that I could get into. There definitely were times that I went down one path knowing that there was another path that would give me a completely different story. The whole aspect of it taking place in hell, and you interacting with demons, and there being this whole like theming of it kind of seeming like a college town where you're on a bender, it's just a whole lot of fun. And so I really feel like this is a cute game for Halloween if you're interested. The next game on my list is a pretty popular indie game, so there's a good chance you've heard of it before, but I wanted to include it on my list anyway because it's kind of iconic, and that is Oxenfree. This is actually made by the same game makers as Afterparty. I just wanted to bring Afterparty up first because I feel like that's one that people talk about a lot less. So Oxenfree is a supernatural thriller about a group of friends who accidentally open up a ghostly rift on an island. So you play as the main character Alex, a rebellious teenager who brings her new stepbrother Jonas to an overnight party on an old military island. The night takes a terrifying turn when you unwittingly open a ghostly gate spawned from the island's cryptic past. So similar to Afterparty, there is this conversation system that allows you to choose what Alex says, and you can also choose where she goes and what she does, and this can really affect the story. This game definitely has a spookier vibe than Afterparty. It still has funny moments, but overall this one is definitely more like actually scary. There were definitely times that I was playing it at night and I was like, ooh, the ghosts are doing a lot. So similar to Afterparty, the replayability of this game is really high. I've actually already played this I think twice or maybe 1.5 times. What's really fun about this is that after you play the first time and sort of uncover all the mysteries and spookiness, you will find yourself the second time around trying to make different decisions to get a different ending. And so it just has a really good, fun, eerie vibe, and the art style is super interesting. The music is also really good and very spooky, and overall this is a really fun game. There's a reason that this is an indie that most people have played or heard of, but I just wanted to put it on my list anyway because it's such a good game, and I really feel like if you haven't heard of it, you should. The next game on my list is another cult classic, and that is Little Nightmares. This is probably a game that you may have already heard of or already played, but again, I really wanted to put it on my list because of how much I liked it when I played it. So Little Nightmares is a spooky puzzle platformer that has you following a little girl in a yellow raincoat as she tries to escape the maw, which is a vast, mysterious vessel inhabited by corrupted souls looking for their next meal. In this game, you not only have to platform, but you also have to hide and sneak to avoid danger and run for your life to find a way out. Each room you find yourself in is a cell with a different threat, and you have to solve complex 3D puzzles. This is actually the first game on my list that does not have voice acting. I know you'll be shocked to hear that, but it does have very eerie and cool sound design, and the art style in this game is unlike any other game that I've played. Like, it is so rich. I don't even know how they made this game. Like, when I was playing it, I literally felt like I had never seen a more beautiful video game, and it honestly is very spooky, very creepy. There's a lot of things in the ship that are trying to eat you and get you, and so there's a lot of like running. I actually found myself screaming a few times. So if for some reason you haven't heard of Little Nightmares, I just wanted to throw this one out there because I really think that this one is really fun, and if you are open to just something with such beautiful art style but still might scare you a little bit, I definitely think that this could be up your alley. So the last game on my list is Luigi's Mansion 3. This is a game that is super popular. You probably have heard of it if you have a Nintendo Switch, but I just love this game so much because I used to be a huge fan of Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube, and so when I got a Switch, this was one of the first games that I wanted to play. I just love Luigi and the whole Luigi's Mansion franchise. So in this game, Luigi is invited to the Last Resort Hotel, but soon when he gets there, Mario and all of his friends go missing, and so Luigi has to embark on a quest throughout the hotel to save them. Throughout this game, you have to stun and vacuum up ghosts and go along the way and solve puzzles to try and find Mario and your friends. There's a lot of boss fights in this game, and it's a little bit more complex than some of the other games that I've recommended on this list, but I think if you're a fan of Mario and Luigi, this is definitely a game that you should play. It is harder, like I said, than some of the other games I recommended on this list. There were definitely times that I had to go bring my Nintendo Switch to my boyfriend so that he could beat the different bosses because it was getting really stressful. I also had to watch a lot of different walkthroughs of other people playing it because there was a couple of times I just could not figure out what I was supposed to be doing, but it's just so much fun if you like Mario and you like campiness. I just think that this is one of those games that you can't not recommend when you're talking about spooky games for fall. That brings us to the end of my list of spooky games I think that you should be playing this autumn season. Please let me know if there are any games that you think I might have missed. I would love for you guys to be sharing recommendations in the comments down below. Also, before we go, if you like spooky things, I want to bring up the fact that I do have an Etsy shop where right now I am selling spooky, cute little book related stickers as well as bookmarks that my mother created. Thank you all so much for watching. You're all beautiful. Have a nice day.